What would you do if someone marked you for death? How would it feel knowing assassins were watching your every move, studying your routines, waiting for the perfect moment to strike? For Sidhu Moosewala, this wasn't a nightmare. It was reality. The brutal daylight execution of beloved Punjabi superstar Sidhu Moosewala sent shockwaves through millions of fans worldwide. Now, as we approach the one-year anniversary of his death, the chilling truth emerges from the shadows. A confession so detailed, so methodical, it forces us to confront the darkest corners of human vengeance. Lawrence Bishnoi, one of India's most feared crime lords, has finally revealed the haunting details of how he orchestrated what may be the most calculated celebrity assassination in recent history. His confession to the National Investigation Agency, NIA, doesn't just solve a murder. It exposes the terrifying reality of how far revenge can go when fueled by power, money, and hatred. Picture this. October 2020. Lawrence Bishnoi receives news that will forever alter multiple lives. His cousin, Gurlal Brar, has been gunned down by the rival Davinder Bambiha gang. The pain of loss quickly crystallizes into something far more dangerous, a burning desire for retribution. Then, another devastating blow strikes Bishnoi's world when his associate Vicky Medukeda is murdered in Mohali. In the quiet moments following these killings, as grief and rage intertwined in Bishnoi's mind, a fateful connection was made, one that would ultimately seal Moosewala's fate. Sidhu Moosewala's manager Shagan Preet had arranged the stay and vehicles for the shooters, Bishnoi confessed, his words dripping with the cold logic of vengeance. After that, I started making plans for killing Sidhu Moosewala. Can you imagine being marked for death, not for something you did, but for someone you employed? What few people know is that Moosewala nearly escaped his fate. The first assassination team, Shahrukh, Danny, and Aman, stalked the singer for a week in the fall of 2021, hiding in a village near his home, watching, waiting. But they failed. They returned to Bishnoi with troubling news. The task is very difficult. We need more shooters. For most targets, this failed attempt might have been their salvation. For Moosewala, it was merely a postponement of the inevitable, and perhaps worse, it gave Bishnoi time to craft something far more elaborate. Have you ever felt someone watching you? Moosewala lived with that reality, possibly unaware of just how many eyes were tracking his movements. As winter gave way to spring in 2022, Bishnoi's revenge plot expanded into an international conspiracy that would make even the most hardened detectives shudder. Communications flowed through encrypted apps. Money moved through shadowy Hawala channels. Operatives in Dubai, Canada, and Azerbaijan coordinated with foot soldiers in Punjab. A staggering 50 to 60 lakh rupees, approximately $72,000, crossed borders to fund a single killing. Sachin went to Dubai and then to Azerbaijan 1 month before the murder, Bishnoi revealed, describing his nephew's role. During the whole task, Sachin was in contact with Goldie Brar and facilitated the execution. Reconnaissance teams studied Moosewala's routines, his security detail, mapping out the vulnerabilities in his daily life. All while the singer continued performing, creating music, living a life that was already being measured in its final days by people he'd never met. Think about that for a moment. Somewhere in the world right now, similar plots might be unfolding against unsuspecting targets. How fragile is our sense of security? By May 26, 2022, the elaborate machinery of death was fully operational. 6 shooters, Rupa, Manpreet, Ankit, Priyavarat, Deepak Mundi, and Kashish stood ready. Vehicles were prepared, escape routes planned, safe houses secured. On May 28th, the day before the murder, Bishnoi received the message that would seal Moosewala's fate. He is going to finish the game of Sidhu Moosewala tomorrow afternoon. All preparation has been done. Just hours later, in a cruel twist of fate, the Punjab government reduced Moosewala's security detail, unknowingly creating the perfect opportunity for the assassins who had been waiting patiently for nearly a year. Can you feel the weight of those final 24 hours? As Moosewala went about his Saturday, completely unaware that by this time tomorrow, his name would be worldwide news for the most tragic reason. The firepower behind Bishnoi's operation was military grade: 25 9mm pistols, an AK-47 assault rifle, ammunition stockpiled over years, all purchased at a cost of approximately 2 crore rupees, nearly $250,000, for the sole purpose of enforcing his criminal empire's vendettas. When the shots finally rang out on that fateful Sunday afternoon in Mansa district, they didn't just end the life of a 28-year-old musical prodigy. They silenced a voice that had brought joy to millions, all because of a connection that may have been unknown even to Moosewala himself. 3 days after Moosewala's bullet-riddled body made headlines across India, Bishnoi was already discussing payment. He will get 3.5 lakhs, he told Navnath Suryavanshi, approximately $4,200 for participating in ending a human life. Let that sink in. A beloved artist's life, valued at just a few $1,000s in the cold economics of revenge. While investigators continue piecing together the case against Bishnoi's network, Moosewala's parents continue their heartbreaking fight for justice. Their protest is not just for their son, it's for all of us who live in a world where talent can be extinguished by vengeance, where art can be silenced by violence. Moosewala's music lives on, his posthumous releases still racking up millions of views. But we'll never know what other melodies might have formed in his mind, what other lyrics might have flowed from his pen. This confession doesn't just solve a murder. It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about the world we live in. A world where international criminal networks can reach across borders to exact revenge. Where artists can be marked for death based on associations. Where human life can be reduced to a transaction. I don't usually get this personal, but cases like this one remind me why I started this channel. To shine light into these dark corners. To help us all understand the fragile nature of justice and security in our world. If you found yourself moved, disturbed, or fascinated by this investigation, consider joining our community of truth seekers. Each subscriber helps us continue digging into cases that mainstream media often glosses over. We're not just after views, we're after truth, no matter how uncomfortable. Hit that subscribe button if you believe these stories deserve to be told in full. And let me know in the comments, what aspect of this case disturbs you the most? I read every comment and truly value your perspective.